As you know, anxiety and stress have become all too familiar during the coronavirus pandemic, and I've been reaching out to therapist friends of mine to see if they can help process everything that is going on in my head and maybe yours too. Joining me today is Matthew Shima. Hi, Matthew.
Hi.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. You know, it's so good to connect with people, even if it's through my computer screen. Do you agree?
Yes, definitely. Like this is I like to say, my window to the world.
How are you able to use your expertise right now to help clients that are coming to you, especially maybe because of the coronavirus pandemic?
So I think there's a real shift right now. Maybe food was never an issue, being healthy was never an issue, and now all of a sudden that takes forefront in our mind. Where we go to the store and there's not food, like there's no pasta, there's no anything. All of a sudden, what was important before gets kind of set aside, and then now sort of new needs become more dominant.
Part of what I've started noticing about myself is I started distancing myself from things I would usually do. Like even like a couple of days I was off of Facebook for like the entire weekend because all I kept seeing on news feeds were people sharing news articles about how bad the situation is getting or who else died as a result of it. And to me, that's very traumatizing. Do you think that's a good idea for maybe those of us that are extra sensitive to seeing stuff like that, to just kind of maybe fast for a couple of days on the mediums that bring us that source of stress?
Yeah, I think that that impulse to stay away from Facebook, I trust that. I trust that something is going on for you, that like, whoa, this is too much. I can't handle this. It's too scary. It's too stressful. It's too anxiety provoking. So I need to take a break from that. So to me, that's regulating. Like you're noticing what happened. Whoa, I get too dysregulated. I get too activated. Let me take a break. Now, it is important to stay informed, right? Like to know what's going on, to have accurate, actual information. So I think that creating limits for yourself, creating sort of rules for yourself of, okay, I'm going to check this news source, which I trust, once a day, or in the morning, in the evening, and that's it. Or, I'm not going to check it past, I don't know, 6 p.m. And then I go into my dinner and my evening routine. So I think setting parameters for yourself is really important. So I can stay informed to get accurate information, but not kind of go down the endless loop of scrolling comments that only maybe is more activating.
I could feel my heart beating faster as I'm like,
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that. It's like a rabbit hole.
So I know you were asking about skills before, so maybe this is a good chance that as you notice that activating, so something that people ask me, what do we do? So maybe just right now, I can invite you to notice the place that your body is making contact, maybe with the floor or the chair or the sofa that you're sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
And then just see what that's like as you bring your attention to the places that your body is being supported.
Okay.
I don't know, what's that like? Do you notice anything as you do that? As you shift your attention to way your feet are making contact with the ground, or that your body is being supported by the chair?
Well, my carpet feels soft. um, my hands feel a little clammy on my knees.
Yeah, that can be a stress reaction.
I get that often. And then sitting on my couch, I feel like the dent in the couch that I'm sitting in, but also that it's supporting me.
And how is that as you do that? As you notice those things?
I feel like I'm calming down somewhat. Yeah, just because the focus is changing from what we were talking about, which are all potential triggering, news stories or whatnot. And I'm instead focusing on, like you said, the bottom of my feet or like how my hands are resting on my knees. And so it's kind of displacing the thought to something that's very specific and very much in this moment.
Mm-hmm. And so you notice a change in your heart rate?
I mean, I can't, measure it, but I feel like it's getting calmer.
Okay. So I want to invite you now, if I could, to just notice that sense of getting calmer. Yeah. And there's the exhale, right? There's the breath that comes out.
Can this work for doctors' offices too? Because I have white coat syndrome, and when they measure my, when they measure my like heart rate and whatever, it like spikes because of it.
Yeah, so like what I just walked you through is just a simple grounding technique. And also we're kind of shifting away your attention from, right? So as a, notice how even right now you're not looking at the news, right? You're not scrolling Facebook, but even just thinking about it can activate your nervous system. Mm-hmm. So the same thing goes, we can also use our same imagination and mind's eye and our attention to shift back to something else, to put a place that feels a bit more calm, or like in this case, grounding, like what's in the present moment here. Mm-hmm. So we're not ignoring what's happening, but we're just using our attention to help regulate ourselves so we can go back to the conversation. Yeah, this is based on something called the community resiliency model. Basically just wellness skills that, so we can do, so, you can use this in the doctor's office. You can use this in a conversation. You can use this just as you notice you start to get agitated or activated. Mm-hmm. That, maybe if I bring my attention back to my feet on the floor or my hands here on the armrest, that naturally my heart rate starts to slow down. Naturally my breath kind of comes out. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you so much for that grounding exercise. I wasn't expecting it, but it works great.
That is something I would teach in therapy, although it's also not necessarily a therapy exclusive to therapy. It's kind of just a basic wellness and mindfulness skill that anytime really you can use a grounding or kind of mindful awareness practice to kind of recenter and re-regulate your nervous system.
Can you teach me some more skills, especially while I'm stuck at home and, obviously dealing with all of these thoughts and, having anxiety?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here's one. Drinking a glass of water. It sounds really simple and maybe a little too basic, but as you start to notice that, I'm getting kind of stressed out, or I'm feeling depressed and it's hard, okay, let's walk over to the kitchen and grab a glass of water and then notice what that's like as I feel that go down my throat, and just see what that's like. So it's having a glass of water and then also adding the element of awareness, of tracking what that's like and if that feels good or at least okay. So again, it's using something like concrete in the moment to shift your attention to, and then all of a sudden when I notice that, I'm not thinking about the other thing, which to me it's different than avoidance. It's not to make things go away or be better. It's a momentary moment to kind of regulate myself long enough so I can do the next thing. So maybe, okay, you know what? Okay, I feel calmer now. Now I can go into the store, or now I'm calm enough that, okay, what do I think I actually just need to go to sleep, or I actually need to just take a walk. So it's kind of just like a real quick in the moment. How else can I get my attention back?
So the first exercise was grounding yourself to actually notice the different parts of your body and where you are in that moment and how that feels, mm-hmm. to kind of bring your thought process back to the moment right now, and so that you can kind of reset a little bit.
Yeah. Some people that doesn't work. Some people it might be not the right moment, or that can be dysregulating. So it's important to really find out what works for you. Mm-hmm. So for me, I love a glass of water. Some people like cold water. Some people like warm water, or like tea or coffee. So like right now, I can also just pay attention to the sounds I hear. So I hear like an airplane or a helicopter. I hear my own voice. I hear it a little bit through my headphones, like of what's happening on your end. So I can bring my attention. So it's like there's different ways to bring your attention back to the present moment, which is a way of shifting your attention away from whatever was distressing you.
It's all about the mind and bringing your mind back to the present moment and not let like anxious thoughts hijack it, right?
Exactly. And so the point, I really want to stress this because it's not about avoiding things. So I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just gonna meditate and be mindful.
Mm-hmm.
It's so the point is that I'm not gonna make very good decisions or have very creative solutions or problem solving if I'm dysregulated. So it's not even useful, say for the COVID-19, right? If I'm too dysregulated, I'm not even gonna and I go to the grocery store like this, I'm not even gonna make proper decisions about preparing appropriately if I'm already freaking out. But if I go in, if I do a little grounding, if I take a walk outside first before I go in, if I'm in an okay enough state, then I'm more likely to make better purchases. I'm more likely to make better decisions. So it's about getting into a space where you're your best self, where you're making your best logical, rational, your best sort of decision-making process.
You know what also helped me too is like finding a purpose for each day, like one day at a time. Is this part of like something that you would recommend? Because I've noticed like even planning a call with you, and we're doing this at noon, it motivated me to get up, at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was motivated to do a short workout, until like around 10. It motivated me then to take a shower because sometimes when I'm at home and I don't have this like having to see somebody and maybe record it, then I don't have a motivation to shower or work out or do any of the above. So having this purpose of I'm going to chat with you and we're going to try to create something that's meaningful for somebody else as well, it makes me want to be more productive and to take care of myself in ways that I may not have if the day was just kind of blah and I didn't have a set purpose for that particular day.
Totally. Yeah. Meaning and purpose is very essential, and that links to like hope and preparing for the future. So I know that, I have agency over my life. Like, if I do this, then I can't, like, if I get up, then I can do the call. If I make a good show, then people will see it and I'll help them. And then maybe I'll even get more calls to do more interesting work. And so there's a sense of like, I'm doing something. I'm being productive. I'm contributing. I'm fulfilling my life in a way that's alignment with my values and my goals and my purpose. So yeah, I think that's wonderful. And I think that it's also really smart that you know how you work. I'm all about like knowing yourself, because for some people, maybe they would do a poor job if they did a recording in the morning. Say they know they work best at night. So it would make sense for that person to schedule all their work in the evening if possible. Where for me, like if we had scheduled this at 9 tonight, I would have been fried. I wouldn't have been able to think very well, and if it was like at 6 a.m, I think I would have been, whoa, this is too early. Mm-hmm. So to know your workflow, to know that, if I schedule this, that'll be good for me because it'll inspire me to work out and to get ready and to shower and to prepare for the call. Aww. So I think it's really about it's about knowing how you work and how you function, and then kind of setting yourself up for success in that.
See, I didn't even know I was doing it with all that in mind. All I knew was I needed to get up and be ready for you. And so I wanted to make sure that my energy level was where it should be. Usually working out helps me with endorphins. Obviously, showering is a good idea if we're doing something like this. And usually in therapy sessions, I don't wear makeup. And, it's with my personal therapist. Everything is private. And usually we're talking about some deep stuff. I might cry. So eyelashes definitely not on, makeup not on. Maybe I'm in sweats, and so it's just all about kind of, I think, what I'm expecting and, what I'm expecting to get out of that experience. And in terms of today, I just wanted to be prepared so that it's about me getting help through you, but also more about taking this experience and making it available for somebody else too. So that's all I was thinking about it, but apparently I was doing a lot more things
Yeah.
that were good.
Yeah, because you've had a lot of experiences in your life that have told you like, oh, when I shower, then I feel good, and then like, oh, when I get ready and I schedule, then I feel productive. Like, so I think there's a lot of ways that sounds like you already know, and we already know how to take care of ourselves. So to me, that is self care more so than like bubble baths or something. Like, I think self care gets kind of, I mean, that's good too, but it gets kind of misrepresented as pampering or something. Which for so as a man, I know that this is like that's hard for me to like allow that. But self care is me. It's like really knowing yourself and taking care of those things in that way. Like, when I shower, I feel good.
Hmm.
I feel energized. Okay, I'm going to do that. When I work too many hours in a row, I feel bad. Let me cut back. Like, I know I need to space out. If I put my appointments back to back, then I'm likely to feel tired in my mind and give poor answers, which I feel bad about. So let me not do that if I can. We don't always have choice around all these things, but where you can, like, for example, I try to wake up 2 hours at least before I need to leave. 3 hours is even better for me because I like to move slow in the morning, and I have my routine with coffee and meditation and writing and all these things. So for me, I know that that's a habit that I've had to put in place, and it works for me. Adjust your life to fit those things.
Now I see. Now I see. Self care for me is not always self care for my husband. It's kind of what.
Yeah, exactly. The self and the self care is so individual. For me, I guess the key is awareness. Like, what happens when I do this or when I do that? Or when I don't do this or don't do that? What's the effect of that?
Well, it looks like our time is wrapping up right now. We just have a couple of minutes left during this scheduled call, at least. But is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to add or share?
I'm curious of just what you're left with, or what stands out to you, or what question, like, what's fitting for you, what's not fitting for you.
Well, the biggest thing I learned is now I know why my husband doesn't like taking bubble baths with me because that's not self care to him, it's self care to me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
um, but I think also just the reminder of grounding yourself. Like when you first said, like think about how your feet are touching the floor or how your hand is, on your knees or resting. Um, these are things that are too trivial for me to think about on a day-to-day basis, like it's like we got things to do, I'm busy, who cares what my feet are doing, they're on the floor, that's my mindset most of the time. Or like this COVID's going on, who cares how my feet feel? But you're right, it's totally important to be mindful of yourself and every part of your body, because if every part of your body is in tune with your mind, it's you're taking care of yourself in that way. You're not ignoring the hand that's doing all these things for you. You're not ignoring your feet that are walking around everywhere trying to do your work. So I don't know. That's how I kind of took it as. It's like, oh, sorry, feet, I've neglected you. Like this is how you're feeling, and this is how you've what I've been doing, with you. Same with my hand. Sorry you got so clammy. It's because I got nervous because I was thinking about these news reports about COVID. Like let me calm down so I can make you feel a little bit normal, more normal.
Yeah, and this might be an interesting final point to end on, is that self care can seem selfish, and going into therapy to work on myself or something can seem very what's the word, like navel gazing, very like selfish, and it can seem that way because I'm spending all this time about what I need, what I feel. But so if we use like the grounding example, one, yes, it can bring gratitude for like, oh, these legs and feet that have been supporting me. But also, as I do that, I bring myself more into regulation, and I have more capacity to see beyond my feet, and I have more capacity to see, oh, I'm not just focused on, I got to get the toilet paper, I got to get the toilet paper, but I actually have enough space in my mind and heart now to see, what else is going on? Oh my gosh, that person over there, I didn't even notice them before, but now that I'm a bit more calm, I can see that, oh my gosh, that person is struggling with that thing over there. I wonder if they need a hand. So that, or now I can come home and I have more space to listen to someone in my family, or I can call that friend who I've been neglecting, because now I feel a bit more okay. So I really am a big advocate of this work not being selfish, even though it on the surface can maybe seem like that.
Matthew, thank you again. I will list Matthew's information in the description so you can reach out directly too if you have any questions or feel like maybe he might be a good therapist for you. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.